Hi, my name is Paul Moat, and I'm the Communications Director for the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. And this is installment 3 of our Meet the Candidates podcast. Today, we have Mike Welsh, who is the candidate for Lehigh Valley Executive. Mike, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Happy
Paul.
to have you here. So tell us about yourself, Mike.
So, Paul, I grew up in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and my first experience of Lehigh County was 1982 when I came to DeSales University. And I graduated DeSales University in 1985 with a business management degree. For me, the best thing to come out of DeSales University was my wife Nancy. We both
And
are
we'll
graduates.
put up a little picture of the happy couple.
Wonderful, thank you. But no, Nancy's just great. We married in 1987. We have 3 children. We actually adopted 2 children.
Oh, really?
And that is the really great source of pride for us. They're all grown up. They're doing well. Adoption has a lot of challenges with it, but we're very happy that it worked out so well for our kids. Professionally, I worked for Liberty Mutual Insurance for 21 years when I graduated college, and I through actually running for office, ran into a gentleman who owned an insurance agency in South Whitehall, and he invited me to become part of his team, and then he sold the agency to me in 2014. So I love being my own man, so to speak, and having my own business, and
all that entails.
Exactly. Right. And I think that's so important for this role of Lehigh County Executive to have a business background. I think it's important because you have to have a real grounded sense of the challenges families face in raising children, in meeting the responsibilities that go along with that, such as expenses for a home. Maybe you're paying tuition to send your child to a Catholic school, or maybe you're struggling maintaining the employees that you have, and you're living on a pretty low income yourself, but you like being your own person, having your own business, or you're working for a large company and the struggles that go along with that. I've had a lot of those experiences, being a dad, working for a large company, having my own business. So I'm in tune with what a lot of families in Lehigh County, go through on a daily basis. I'm a strong advocate for having a very favorable tax environment in Lehigh County. So when I say that, what do I mean? It means that I would do everything I possibly could to make sure that county government is living within its means. When I worked with Al Thompson, he was South Whitehall Township Treasurer. And the neat thing about being a township treasurer is that you can kind of set up shop wherever you would like. And so Al had it in the insurance office. The significance of that, though, for me, was that I saw firsthand people who had been living in their home for 40 years, no longer had a mortgage. They would come in and pay their property taxes directly. Most people have an escrow account with their mortgage, so they're not coming in. But the people who owned their home outright did stop in to pay their property tax bill directly to the township treasurer. And I was just doing the insurance, but I saw firsthand the struggles that people were going through to make that property tax payment and to keep their home. Because for a lot of these people, if you've been there 40, 50 years, you might have only paid 10 or 11 or 12 or $15,000 for your home in South Whitehall, and now your taxes are that amount. So you're struggling just to make ends meet. So when I talk about a favorable tax environment, I'm talking about keeping county government living within its means. Now, if I can go to like a little bit of compare and contrast, Paul, the Democrats have fielded a candidate whose name is Josh Siegel. Now, he is an advocate for doing a number of different things that I am really radically against. But as it relates to taxes, there's two things. One of those things is he wants to, in addition to the property tax, add on a countywide sales tax and a 0.5% earned income tax. He wants to do that to bring in more revenue to Lehigh County that he would use for some really radical programs. And some of those radical programs are actually things we can look at from what he's done as a public servant to this point. So when he was on city council, he proposed cutting the police department budget by 60%, which would have been $25 million out of the Allentown Police Department. Just would have gutted it. But his concept was sending social workers on police calls. Now, I've always been an advocate for law enforcement. And when I say advocate, it was something that I spotlighted in my previous campaign in 2008 for state rep. And even today, I still feel the same way, being a resident of Allentown, that we do not have enough police on the streets in Allentown. So,
Let me
yes.
interrupt 1 second. Now, I remember in 2023, actually, the Biden White House at that time declared uh, Lehigh County as a major crime thoroughfare. Crime. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So at the same time, because they were saying the same thing back then in 23 about sending out social workers, and this is when their White House was declaring Lehigh County a major crime thoroughfare.
Right. I mean, without going into some of the national components of it, this seems to be part of the Democrat agenda. So anyway, these
At the
are
same
things
time, cutting the police.
Right.
When
Yes.
that's coming
Right.
out. I mean,
Right. I mean, how many times have we seen that the last couple of years? St. Paul, Minnesota. Just so many different things. But I'm a big advocate for law enforcement. I really do think that a city of roughly 130,000 in Allentown should have closer to 270 officers, and I think we're around 220. But that's one of the things Josh Siegel has proposed. He also attended a rally in 2020. Now, this rally was a big deal because they were really shouting things at the police. One of those things was F the police. And Josh Siegel claims that he wasn't joining in on that, but there were eyewitnesses that said that he was. So Josh is not a big fan of the law enforcement community. He's kind of shown that through his actions. And the other thing about Josh is he's run for 5 offices. And I think Josh is maybe 30, 31 years old for city council, state rep, mayor twice, now county executive. Josh is still trying to figure out what he wants to do. But he's just someone that would radically change Lehigh County in the way it's governed.
For the worse.
Yes. The one thing he would like to do is regionalize police and fire services.
That always works out great.
Now, that's even something that my opponent, Roger McLean, has touched upon. Roger and I do agree on a great number of things. I was a little surprised at a debate we had with Brad Osborne a number of weeks ago, where just at the end, he touched on the fact that if the Board of Commissioners wanted to entertain it, he would look at it. And so I would not. And the reason I wouldn't entertain it is because I have worked in Lehigh County for a long time, and I can tell you that the really neat thing about it is that there are sections that really have their own little culture that is completely different than Allentown. In fact, that's the great thing about the county. They each have their own little culture, and they know what's best. If there's an area where the county can be of assistance, I mean, we could look at that, but never would be I'd be an advocate for regionalization. The primary is coming up in just a few more days, Paul, May 20th, and I'm running against Roger McLean. Roger has just a fantastic record as a public servant, serving in law enforcement for 40 years in Allentown and Lehigh County. But Roger and I are different. I bring a business background. He brings a law enforcement background. I served on the Allentown School Board from 2013 to 2017. Roger changed his registration. I believe it was 2011 or 2013, from Republican to Democrat to run for the Allentown City Council. And there's a part of me that gets that, because you really cannot get elected in the city of Allentown as a Republican. But I think for myself that is just not something I could ever do. I'm a lifelong Republican, and I'm so grounded in that. That's just a step I could not take. I did get elected as a Republican to serve on the Allentown School Board, so it can be done. So Roger, for a long time has been a Democrat. He only changed to run in this election as a Republican. He gave money to Democratic candidates over the years when Republican candidates were opposing some of these Democratic candidates. I've never given any financial support to any Democratic candidate, only Republican candidates. The reason I go through all this, it's basically to show that were I Lehigh County executive, I'm very tough. I'm able to reach across the aisle and work with Democrats, but I'm very grounded in my views. And I really think that it would just be wonderful to see a real conservative get elected in Lehigh County. I think it'd be a great dynamic for the election. Just two completely polar opposites. Josh Siegel, just a complete left-wing radical liberal versus a rock-solid Republican conservative. And let me tell you something. Republicans can win this race in that dynamic, because Republicans, they show up for conservatives, but they don't show up for moderates. Now, we could cite to national elections where that happened, with Mitt Romney, with John McCain, where the Republican Party featured moderates. But when we have strong conservatives that run, like Trump, and I do like to equate myself with Trump, because he had that business background. He never had a government paycheck. I don't have the dance nail, but I like that. I like that dynamic about him. I really, really do. And that's something I hope I can bring to the table. But I just wanted to offer that, just to kind of compare and contrast. So the reasons I'm running for, Paul, I talked about my business background and dealing with the budget. In my own insurance business, of course, the budget's certainly not as large as Lehigh County, but the experience of being on the school board was invaluable. We worked with a very large budget on the Allentown School Board. But some of the other things that I care very deeply about are election integrity. So, speaking to that, over the last couple of years, you've seen this really big effort to open more distribution channels for elections. So drop boxes. Um, One of the things that Josh Siegel would like to see is something called a mobile curing van concept, which I'll talk about. But I am a strong advocate for in-person voting. Um, I did do a mail-in ballot once in 2020, and I couldn't stand it, but I had to do it because I was in Florida and I just had to do it. But I really believe in in person voting. Um, I think one of the benefits of in-person voting is uh, for the Board of Elections in Lehigh County. It certainly has to help lower the expense when you have in-person voting. Um, but Gallup polls show that there has there has been a real increase in uh, the perception, if you want to call it that, that that the whole voting process isn't trustworthy. So I really feel that by bringing back in-person voting and doing away with drop boxes um, is a big time contribution I can make towards bringing that integrity back.
So important.
Yeah. Um, and the other thing I really think that we need to be doing at the county level is cooperating fully with ICE, um, opening up the lines of communication so that everyone is on the same page. Because if I'm county executive, I never want to be a part of something where someone was released that caused harm to somebody else. Um, I never want to be in a position where one of our county bridges collapsed, like we saw 2 weeks ago when a propane tank went over a bridge, which was just an accident that happened. But I never want to be a part of something like that where my eye wasn't on the ball when it comes to infrastructure. So those are the things that I really care about, and a big part of it, let's face it, is also preventing Josh Siegel from being elected and preserving that what I think is a good quality of life that can be made better through a favorable tax environment, but also keeping someone from Josh Siegel from ever being elected county executive. Um, we we talked about this for a minute on the way in, Paul. Um, I'm really excited for this Republican primary because it's going to allow me to do something that is very important to me, and that is on the Board of Commissioners in Lehigh County right now. We have a dynamic where we have 6 members who are making up a large uh, part of Allentown, with only 3 really being outside of Allentown. That is not fair representation, in my view, for the whole county. So that dynamic happened in 2023 when we did not win any of the at-large seats. So we're paying a heavy price in the county for that. I feel badly for areas that aren't really getting the representation that they should. Now I did say 6. uh, I am throwing Dan Hartzell, who is really South Whitehall, into the mix, but because South Whitehall is right there, I can't help but include him. But that's a dynamic that I would really like to see change. And um, I think we have a real opportunity if in this Republican primary we elect a rock solid conservative, someone who can help get Jackie Rivera in the general over the top against Zach Cole-Borgie. Um, I really think there's a chance. Jackie's got a lot of energy in her candidacy. She's willing to do the door knocking. And if we have that conservative element behind us, ensuring very, very high Republican turnout, I think we can win. Now, that is a district seat, that not an at-large seat, but that's something Republicans can take action on immediately. And then in
Jackie's
2000,
it's a tough district for a Republican too that Jackie's running
it
in.
is,
So
but
she can use the help.
she could
Any
use
help
the
that
help.
anybody can give her, she can use it.
Yes, and
And she's tireless.
she is tireless.
That girl is tireless.
Yes, yes, yes. And her dad is running for Allentown School
Yes,
Board,
yes.
and I actually served on school board
okay.
with him, and I really hope he gets back there as well.
Well, I just completed the podcast with Jackie, so that's going to be coming out probably tomorrow. And Bob is also going to come do. Her dad's going to come do a podcast
great,
too. So
great,
we'll
great,
let him talk too.
Great. But then, if we could win that, and then 2027 comes along for the at-large seats, I mean, I would absolutely love to be a part of that and seeing that dynamic change.
We need to get out and support our Republican candidates as much as you can. The point of these podcasts, I'm going to put together some information resources for the candidates. Like, for example, if you're running for a town spot, you first go to the county building, put your paperwork in, but you have to go to the town and also put it in. We've lost candidates in this election.
Yeah,
we've lost 4 candidates, I believe, just because of that.
Well, but you're feeding into something that I wholeheartedly agree with, and we haven't had the seat of county executive in 20 years. So to get that with a solid conservative, because if we have a moderate who wins the primary, then it will be difficult for Republicans, in my view, to really unite behind that candidate. But I do think that I am the best person to take on Josh Siegel, and I do think that I'll be able to lead the way in bringing dollars in to the Republican Party to help in these races that are coming up, and hopefully bring even a renewed sense of faith, so that other Republicans will step up and take on challenges in the city of Allentown. Because in my view, as someone who has run for office in Allentown, we have to have Republicans being part of the conversation. We can't not field any candidates. I was recently speaking with a reporter, and the reporter said to me, Mike, you've lost elections. And I said, yes, but I've always been proud to step up for the Republican Party. I live in Allentown, but I never changed my political party. I've always been Republican. I ran as a Republican. So don't tell me that the only reason you should consider running is if you have a chance of winning. Sometimes things are bigger than that. You run to begin to change the conversation. So if the Republicans can feature candidates for Allentown City Council, don't look for instant gratification. Have a longer time frame. Okay, it might take 10 years, but it will pay dividends if we run candidates.
Sure. And it's very surprising that we have so many seats where no Republicans are running for those seats.
That's right. That's right. State reps run unopposed.
Yeah.
That's just that we have to be part of the conversation.
Yes, 100%. 100%. We need to support them. We need to give them the confidence that they will have the support if they step up to run.
Yes.
I think that's what we have to do. And in the Tea Party, we're going to do that. We're going to start getting involved because our goal is to get Republicans elected, conservative Republicans.
Well, I said it at the last Tea Party meeting, and I meant it. I mean, you guys as an organization are something that should be the standard that we should strive for. You guys are doing a great job.
It's a great group of people. It really is. I love them. I love them. They're a great group. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming tonight and telling us about yourself.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just that May 20th is fast approaching. I think we're down to 6 days now. So I would be honored to have your vote and to be really the first solid Republican conservative to be the next county executive in Lehigh County. we really need to turn out big time May 20th and again on November 4th as Republicans. But I believe we can do it. And I believe that we can help some of our other candidates down the road get elected, but particularly Jackie Rivera. I think I want to be a part of that story. So would appreciate your vote. I'd be honored to serve. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. This has been a lot of fun.
It has. Thank you.